Hey listeners, it's Ramneek here. We're only a couple of episodes in, but I think before I went any further, it was important to take a moment and speak about a few things many of you reached out and requested. So in this episode, I'm going to focus a bit on giving you an idea of who I am, a bit about my background, why I started this podcast, and what I hope this podcast will do. I always try to emphasize the importance of context, so turning that context lens onto myself for a moment is fair enough. So in this episode, I try my best to give you a better idea of who I am and all of my whys. So again, thank you for being here, and I sincerely hope you enroll in this journey with me and enjoy. There has never been a moment quite like now. People often say and feel the world is changing, but sometimes I'm not too sure. Is the world changing? Or are we simply for the first time becoming more aware of ourselves and the world around us? These questions led me to create Social Fabric, a podcast aimed at having conversations with thought leaders and explore the ideas that are shaping our world. You know, T.S. Eliot once said, "We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all of our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time." My goal is that this podcast has that effect on you. I'm your host, Ramneek, and thank you for being here. Relativity and perspective are two attributes I was fortunate to be given early in my childhood. My family lineage tracing from India, my perception of ideas such as hard work, privilege, health, opportunity, all of these rooted and sourced from a very different place than my peers here at home. Living in the experience of these vastly different worlds, I suppose I developed a stronger sense of self. Mind you, thinking back, I feel I was more of an observer than anything else, which in turn, looking at it now, fueled my willingness to engage and interact with people. I think this is what bolstered my curiosity to work hard and help others, or try to help others. In retrospect, it sounds methodical, but it was hardly a planned route. Fast forwarding this timeline, I can tell you I made a conscious attempt when I was younger to work through school. I think this intent eventually led me down a path of business, retail banking, and investments. Mostly unknown to me at the time, I now realize that my work in banking and investments was not interesting to me because of the money, although there were some moments, but actually because of the unique opportunity to observe human behavior in a way my peers simply could not see. 14 years now from those early days, I think that foundation around emotional intelligence is what lends itself to the work I do today. It doesn't take long with a quick look out the window to see that the world, we as a people, are experiencing a tremendous amount of change in the way we have come to see each other and everything around us. I think the internet has brought upon us a very pressing reflection of who we are, what we are capable of being and becoming. I think social media has played a tremendous role in this as well. Through my career, having the privilege of working alongside countless people and organizations, I couldn't help but come back to this subtle disconnect I could see forming within our culture. Perhaps it is not so subtle anymore. I think the state of our politics is one barometer of this obvious disconnect. It's become fascinating to me how we've come to compartmentalize so many aspects of our lives. At the core, I still suspect this is doing us a massive disservice. I think we'll look back and see it that way. In 2017, a couple of years ago, I published my first book beginning to address this phenomenon that we seem to be in the midst of. The book was called Logicrats: A New Paradigm. In the book, I tried to help create a new framework around how we approach our lives, how we approach the ideas that we have, and how we approach ideas in general. I wanted to begin focusing more on how we think rather than what we think. I think this distinction is the punchline to most of our problems in the modern context. We've continued to push a narrative in where finding the middle ground has become a virtue. Whatever happened to the good old days of reaching for higher ground together? The social conversation continues to trap us in a debate around seeing the glass half full or half empty, when we seemingly forget that this is less of a debate, and both perspectives actually agree that the glass is not full. I jokingly have come to dub this ongoing debate the longest debate between two groups of people that agree. It's become exhausting to continue to engage in this way. So in the spirit of this mess, I suppose, I felt it was due time for me to play my hand. To walk into the chaos and begin filtering out the noise. To bring context back into the conversation. And from these thoughts came this idea, this podcast, Social Fabric. A podcast I hope will explore and discuss the ideas shaping our minds, our collective social fabric, if you will. I hope to bring on notable thought leaders and people who are in the midst of the chaos, striving to make a difference. The business, the politics, the personal development discussions of the world, they all relate and influence everything we do. I do not think we can afford to delude ourselves and think otherwise. I may not agree with many of the people I have on, but I hope to have enough insight to ask the right questions. I'm not intimidated, nor do I wish to avoid people I disagree with. At the core, it is not any individual we disagree with, it's the idea they hold to be true. If I could bring this sense of civility back into the conversation, I feel like I will have personally found success with this project. Middle ground cannot be regarded as enough. For me, we must seek higher ground. I hope to have and continue to develop a sufficient understanding of a wide variety of topics to elicit the ideas and conversations that will help you become the leader and influencer you need to become, to bring about a better tomorrow for yourself and the ones you care for. So this is my why. These are my hopes for this project, and I hope for your presence and engagement through all of it. Hey everyone, thank you so much for listening. If this episode made you think and you wish to reach out with a comment or a question, record your voice and send us the file at socialfabricpodcast@gmail.com, or record yourself on my website. I'll provide the links in the show notes below. Be sure to follow this podcast on Facebook and Twitter, and also join the exclusive Social Fabric Facebook group and engage with other listeners from around the world. Until the next one, be well.